Holy redesign, Batman! Tiki here, and I've seen this episode before! But alas, in the context of me watching through Batman the Animated Series for the first time, it's all new. It's all different. I don't like it. Redesigns everywhere. And what's this? A new Robin? We just saw the old Robin in a feature length film. Barbara looks totally different. Dragon, you gotta help me out of this mess. You gotta make some sense out of this, buddy.
Well, rest assured, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham, in a way.
And tonight we're talking about Holiday Nights, which, kind of breaking the animated Batcave tradition for the first time, Dragon. First time ever. We're talking about an episode that I've already seen. Of course, we covered this in Christmas in July. Dragon, let me just tell you, there is a night and day difference between watching this, out of context, having only seen a couple episodes of Batman the Animated Series at the time we covered Holiday Nights, to watching this right after the amazing 1-2 punch of the Mr. Freeze episode and then Sub-Zero. I mean, Dragon, this is total whiplash, man. I don't know what else to call it. Now, granted, I'll give you this much. The Gordon scene at the end, iconic, beautiful, love it. It's everything I want a Gordon scene to be, and I know why you love it so much. But man, I mean, I'm not saying the stories are bad. It's like who doesn't love Bullock as Santa? But I gotta tell you, man, this was even more of a whiplash than I was expecting it to be, even though I've already seen this episode.
But isn't it kind of trippy? It's like Endgame, where now you've gone back to where you were years ago.
Right, right.
Like at least roughly 7 years ago.
It's like I understand all the context now for why this feels as off as it does.
Yep, well, now you're caught. Now you're re-experiencing it. But again, now you know all this. You know everything from the journey leading up to it.
So, Dragon, it's not that I'm not. There are definitely a few episodes in this last run of animated series episodes that I'm very excited to get to. The Mad Love being one of the big ones.
Oh yeah, that's a biggie.
But suffice to say, man, I'm still not digging the art style at all. I gotta say, the art style is still like probably the thing I'm really gonna have to just kind of like put my
There
foot.
will be an adjustment period. I mean, you know this.
Yeah,
There's going to be
yeah.
but also this is not exactly the episode they really should have started off on, to be honest. But
Well, I think the episode they should have started out on, Dragon, if you want to kind of, is the episode that we're gonna get directly following this
yeah,
one, which introduces a character that,
yeah,
it's like I know who Tim Drake is, so I wasn't that lost, but still.
yeah. There's a story behind
Oh,
that.
God.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, regardless, Dragon, like I said, this is as a Christmas episode for Batman the Animated Series, it is genuinely pretty good. It's got some genuinely really solid bits. It's fun to see the villains toying with Bruce Wayne for a change instead of Batman. Like all three of the storylines have their merits. Granted, I think the Joker one probably has the least merit. Although then again, that's the one with the Gordon scene. So all three really have their merits to them. It's just that it's still kind of like the general adjustment. Barbara looks really off when we just had a whole movie of her in Heart of Ice, and the Tim Drake of it all. It's really really wonky stuff going on, Dragon. Really wonky stuff. In spite of standout elements in all three of the shorts. All right, so why don't you? I'm very curious to get to the background on this.
Okay, so honestly, of all the animated Batcaves, this is probably one of the most important backgrounds I'm going to
Oh,
give.
I'm sure it
So
is.
this is
Yeah.
okay. So there's some stuff to cover here. So this is why
All right.
yeah, another reason we're doing this live. Okay, so director on this was the great Dan Reba, who again really made a name for himself with all the work he did with season 3. Again, very much like Dong Yang, very much kind of owned season 3. Kind of the boy came
Don't
into
you
his
even say that name, man.
well, I'm gonna have to because it's kind of important. So Dan Reba, he directed Batgirl Returns, Riddler's Reform, and Baby Dolls. Give you a couple.
Uh-huh.
which very much connects to the writer on this, who was Paul Dini, who wrote Riddler's Reform, Baby Doll, and Harley and Ivy. Just a little connected tissue with some of our vignettes here.
Sure.
So, okay, so the studio. Now, this is our big change over here. This is where we're going to start talking revampy stuff. So, okay, so Tiki, there was a little thing I didn't. I kind of waited till here to really flesh out, because what we saw with Sub-Zero was truly Dong Yang's last ride. But in provisos, technically Dong Yang it's kind of in the shadows for the revamp, kind of. So here's the deal. So Sub-Zero was Coco and Dong Yang, right?
Yeah.
And Coco, they kind of took over a lot of the new effects and stuff, and they do the explosion. So Coco, and again, Coco birthed from TMS, and they work with Dong Yang starting from Sub-Zero onward. That's the idea. So essentially, this is onward. So Dong Yang, basically Coco is now calling the shots going forward. Basically, all of the revamp is predominantly Coco with TMS. So essentially, it's like season 3 of Batman, which we just covered. Its majority of that season is Dong Yang, right? And as I mentioned, that's Dong Yang kind of claiming their style. They kind of have like a house style of Batman. So in the similar spirit, TMS did the redesign. They have a house style of their Batman, which Coco essentially is doing. So Coco essentially is TMS when TMS isn't directly involved. You follow me here?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's a house style. It's not a great house style, but
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
style.
even though I'm going to be saying
it's
Coco,
a choice.
So you don't get confused. So the folks at home don't get confused. So going forward, when I say Coco and Dong Yang, what I'm really saying is Coco. Okay, Dong Yang's there, but they're kind of they're kind of like they're assisting in the style. It's not their style anymore, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. That's the main distinction I want to get across here. I'll explain the revamp momentarily, but I got to talk about Holiday Nights a little. So Holiday Nights and Mad Love, which are big parts of this season, they were adapted from the animated series tie-in comics, two kind of like one-shot annual stories, as in like. So while they were doing the animated series in the classic look that we all know and love, there were 2 stories made, but by the time they were done in comic form, they could not be animated within like the 9 months it takes to animate an episode. You follow me?
Yeah.
So basically, these Holiday Nights didn't make the cut before the show got the axe, meeting their 85 episode order. Given they came out like in 94 and 95 when the show ends in 95. So Paul Dini wrote all those stories, and they had artists from the animated series like Bruce Timm and Dan Reba doing the art. So there were 5 stories. Basically, they broke the Gordon story off into its own story, which they kind of do here. It's like an epilogue sort of thing. So it's kind of like in here, this episode, we have 4 stories, but there were 5 stories. Now, I have shown you the missing story from the comic, correct?
Yeah, you have.
Yes, I showed. It's called White Christmas. Now, the sad truth...
And it's honestly like the best story out of all of them, Dragon, probably including the Gordon one.
Okay, so this is why I'm definitely bringing up the Sub-Zero earlier, is that, so here's what happened. So White Christmas definitively is the best story from the Holiday Nights comic. No question, it's beautiful, and also extra points in the animated series style, the classic,
I just didn't want my Nora to be unhappy this Christmas.
I know, gorgeous stuff, right? So that's the thing. So essentially, this is why Bruce Timm is really ticked off. Well, he's not really. This is why Bruce Timm doesn't approve of Sub-Zero even further, because they kind of took the story and they couldn't use it.
Great. I mean,
so essentially, the logic is sound here in that, okay, well, if this comes out within the revamp and everything after Sub-Zero, then it wouldn't make much sense, and we know Nora Freeze is alive, to have the story in which she's dead, right?
Sure.
So that's unfortunately what happens. And again, in a perfect world, we would have gotten Holiday Nights as the last episode of the animated series, or like before Deep Freeze somewhere. Like we could have gotten it in like in season 3 somewhere. So unfortunately, White Christmas does not make the mark, and regrettably the best part of the story that was adapted. So, c'est la vie. Now, the revamp itself, just to go over it for posterity's sake, so I don't have to keep going over every episode. So, Batman moves to a new network. They're on Kids WB now with the revamp for the new Batman Adventures. So essentially, believe it or not, Kids WB, despite having kids in their name, they're a lot looser with the censorship. We have guns, we have people getting shot, we have people getting killed.
Wow.
I mean, it's believe it or not, we get really dark this season going forward. This iteration is the darkest version of Batman we're going to get to, at least pretty much. And
That is kind of hard to believe given the art style, but that's exciting though.
I know, and they can get away with a lot more. They weren't really held back by the censors originally, but we can have Batman full on punch people in the face. We can do all sorts of, like we can again like actual handguns. It's crazy.
Uh-huh.
So the reason we have the revamp is that after Batman, they moved on to Superman, which again was kind of like a TMS sort of a Coco Dong Yang sort of. So basically, the style you have now is Superman style. That's the idea. And basically they want for the crossover appeal of when they were doing World's Finest within the Superman animated series, they had to create a new version of Batman. So they're figuring, okay, we want to do more Batman, and we kind of have a Batman on model from this World's Finest thing. So let's with this new Batman show, it makes it easier on the animators because we only have to work essentially with one studio now via between TMS and Coco these days. Let's just conform to the one style. It's even more streamlined. The animated series, which is beautiful as it was, sometimes could be off model because they shifted so many different studios. That was the thing. They had so many different
Right.
gorgeous studios at times, like Spectrum and Dong Yang. So basically, they keep it for the kind of consistency. That's why we have the revamp. And it was definitely a mistake to premiere with this episode before we address the status quo, such as Robin and Clayface and all sorts of other stuff. And that's all you need to know. I think we're caught up.
Okay, so let's just jump right into it.
All right, so we have this sort of like kind of advent calendar thing where it's this Christmas countdown, this holiday countdown. So we have like December 22nd, and in the book these had titles. They had the date thing too, but it was it's they kind of streamlined. This is the book calls this one The Harley and the Ivy.
I really do like the idea that this is not just a Christmas episode, it's just kind of set around the holiday season.
Yeah.
So we get a little bit of pre-Christmas, we get a little Christmas Day, we get a little bit of well, I guess not Christmas Day.
Well, yeah, we do New Year's, we do Christmas Eve, we do
Christmas Eve, and then New Year's. Yeah, so those are three like kind of hallmarks, like the week before Christmas, Christmas Eve, and then New Year's. All right. So, anyways, we start at the Gotham Hotel. Harley's really depressed. It's holiday time, but they have to hold out here in this dingy rat trap.
Yep, as Harley Quinn laments, she then mentions that she wants a Christmas tree, which then sets Ivy off. I'm going to save some of this revamp talk for the episodes when we really get to talk about these guys. We're not going to address the Ivy look quite yet.
Fair enough. I think Harley looks fine.
Yeah, again, Harley, she made out pretty good.
Yeah.
Again, I think honestly, I'd like the back.
Unlike her other half.
True.
Which we'll get to.
Oh, we'll get to Ivy. Yeah, Ivy, it's a little.
No. I'm saying her other half is the Joker, Dragon.
Oh, right. Well, that's definitely that one's. We'll get to that a little bit later in this episode. That one's a lot. That's one we got to talk about this one. Okay.
Right.
Anyway, so all right. So so Ivy goes off on her whole. I get the idea. I love the idea between Harley and Ivy. Every year, Harley mentions a Christmas tree. She gets this speech from Ivy. I'm not. What? We're not going to support the mad campaign of botanical genocide that grips this country every December.
I feel like in modern day we just call it big Christmas trees or something like that.
Yeah, like big business. Yeah, sure.
Right.
So, of course, Harley's response is, "Oh, but Ivy, they're so bright and fun and pretty." And then we have this. I love the points given where points are due here. The posing of this whole vignette. This is Ronnie Del Carmen doing he did the art in the comics. So they're kind of taking the posing and kind of a lot of the really great shots from this vignette from that comic and stuff like this little pillow shove and everything. It's quite very sisterly. It's like, oh please, can we get a tree? And says, and then Ivy says, okay, no tree, but she promises a plan to make this the happiest holiday ever. Now, they actually nixed something from this. They nixed the mention that Harley Quinn was Jewish, which is kind of a shame. It's a network note. I don't know why they had to cut that.
Oh, that's a weird network note.
Yeah.
No, we can't mention Judaism. How dare we?
I know, it's weird. Again, it was a different time, I guess. I don't know. In animation, like said, the whole unless you're Prince of Egypt, apparently we can't mention.
Or the Rugrats.
That's a better example, but yes.
All
right. So let's go to Veronica Vreeland's Christmas party. Tiki, what do you say?
I'm down.
Yeah, so also, I was just to note this, Tika. This is the last time you're going to have until, well, it was the last time for you. You're going to see lighthearted Bruce Wayne from Kevin Conroy because this season's so dark. They told him to nix that, which is kind of a shame.
God, that's really weird that this season's so dark, Dragon. I'm actually very, very excited about it now.
Yeah, seriously, it's going to get pretty dark in places.
But yeah, that is kind of sad that we don't get a playful Bruce Wayne because that is one of my favorite parts of Conroy's performance.
I know. They kind of made him all business, Bruce, but c'est
Uh,
la vie. So Veronica's asking, what's Gotham again? She dyed her hair back after Sub-Zero. So Veronica Vreeland, she's asking what's Gotham's most eligible bachelor plan. I got planned for the holidays. There's all these extravagance, going to the Bahamas, doing this, doing that, and again, Bruce Wayne. Ever since his loss, Batman, not one for like a big old warm and fuzzy Christmas. It's like, oh, I'm just going to spend a quiet Christmas at home.
sure, sure.
He may or may not watch It's a Wonderful Life. We don't know. He probably had to return. He had probably had to return it to Jim Gordon. We don't know. So of course Veronica's looking around. Oh, you better not tell them that. And then this is a fun pool though. We have the girls from Mask of the Phantasm is all like the rich society ladies that always hit on Bruce Wayne are there and they swarm up under the mistletoe.
Oh, come
And
here, big boy.
Brucey under the mistletoe. They're chasing him. And we have this fun bit. I got to tell you, it's a really neat tie-in with Ivy with the whole plant thing with mistletoe. It's kind of nice.
Sure, sure.
So let's see. So he gets a kiss from a mystery woman in shadow, and Bruce is kind of taken aback here for a second. Something didn't feel right there. So a little later on, he leaves the party, he's waving. I like that. I love the atmosphere of this. He's kind of walking home middle of the night after the party, and then he gets accosted by two women in a limousine. Says, "Mr. Wayne, can we offer you a ride?" Oh no, I brought my own car. But we insist. And of course, the minute he hears that, he's stopping. But then,
Oh, I love the horror on Bruce's face when he hears the voice Dragon. It's one of my favorite beats of the episode.
the moment he hears Harley Quinn's voice, he stops. But then we have that really eerie. Did this freak you out? He's compelled to come back. Because of the lipstick.
Yeah, it's a little. I mean, I wouldn't say it freaked me out, but it's a little disquieting.
Oh, what I love, like through
Seeing
the episode,
Bruce
you
Wayne
can
just
see him.
under his control, just under their control.
Yeah, but I love that later on. He seems struggling, but he can't do anything. That's the
Right, right.
So they just pull him into the limo. So you're going to take your two favorite party girls out for some Christmas fun. It's like knock knock in here, man. It's terrifying. So we reveal that Ivy is dosed him with some lipstick. Is Harley monologues here. I love that we visualize this. We demonstrate this visually with the driver as like a lipstick smear on his face to show, okay, Bruce is in trouble here.
Ooh, all right. So we're gonna guess what we're gonna do, Dragon. We're gonna go shopping.
Shopping, yeah. So, and also again, as you said earlier, Bruce Wayne is a target by the Batman rogues instead of Batman himself. Quite a nice.
Yeah, that's
shakeup.
refreshing, Dragon. That's really refreshing.
You know what that also is, Tiki? That's Dini writing.
Of course. All right, so then we enter the by far to me the most outside of the Gordon scene, probably the most memorable bit of the episode, which is the ball montage.
Oh yeah, so we're in Bergdorf. So I love all the fancy department stores of Gotham. So like we have like Bergdorf's. You're right, it's more mall than the other places, more department store. But Bergdorf's is a nod to Bergdorf in New York.
Uh,
So we have the montage. What do you like about the montage?
I love the music.
Yeah, the 12 Days of Christmas sort
Like
of
the smooth jazz, like
Yeah.
saxophone. Like I don't know why, Dragon. That's always stuck out of my head. Definitely one of the most memorable parts of this whole thing.
Of course, the coloring of the scene is great too. Like all like kind of the different kind of gel-like colors.
It is one of the few times where the new redesign kind of like very much fits. Like it's a nice style.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not
but
saying I'm
surely
not going to get used to the redesign. I'm just saying this is one of the few times in this episode in particular where I'm like, all right, I'm vibing with this style.
See, that's like the compensation effect for it. Where again, we're losing the kind of the artistry and like kind of art of every frame versus like we get to do more within the animation. That's the trade-off.
That makes sense. Yeah, right.
See, again, with the streamline thing, they can do more and make it more consistent. Which basically Tiki, the way they move that's the improvement. That's the really cool thing.
I can see that. I can see that. Sure.
You'll see that more, especially as we get on. Especially in some of those darker episodes, the movement's really key. But
all right.
All right, so some fun bits in the mod. I love the perfume gag with Harley's like spraying all over the place. We have the split screen gag, which is pretty funny. But I should mention this too. Dini loves Christmas. He has like this character he created, Jingle Bell, which was kind of like an influence on the Anna Kendrick Santa Claus thing that she did. So it's like kind of like the point
Oh
being,
yeah, right.
Dini loves doing Christmas stuff, especially kind of Harley Quinn adjacent Christmas stuff. So this is
Nice.
having a lot of fun. You'll do this big wheel with all sorts of boxes and stuff they bought there. We have my favorite bill in this montage. Bruce Wayne stuck with the bill and just reluctantly signing the
Yeah,
receipts.
yeah.
It's like, stop it! Stop writing! Then Harley's asking, she sees the tree, please! And then Ivy saying no, and just grabs her by the little jester hat. So they're on the top floor, and Bruce Wayne's stuck carrying all these giant stacks of boxes. And then Harley Quinn, classic Looney Tunes fashion, she says, "Oh look, pianos."
Oh God. Right, so Bruce Wayne, he's struggling, but it kind of looks like he's coming to his, he's not coming to his senses, but he's, it's wearing off a little bit.
Yeah, he's had enough, and they're saying, I think the stuff's wearing off, so they're going to dose him again. And we have some great Harley lines here. Right a Rooney, give me some sugar, baby. Stealing Bruce Campbell's line. She stole Bruce Campbell's line.
And I love Bruce's horror, just like, no, not
Not again.
again.
So this is really clever. My head canon is that he did this on purpose. He
Uh-huh.
falls down the elevator shaft, which of course I'm pretty sure he did that to get away from him and kind of catch himself. And we have Harley Quinn's reaction is priceless. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! We killed him. And of course, just brush it off immediately. We're gonna do it anyway.
We got his credit card. We're fine.
What's the worry? So then, of course, hand coming out of the dark. We know whose hand that belongs to. So, meanwhile, this is a great gig and very Dini doing some great kind of cartoony comedy here, where it's like the timing on this is great. They're driving away. He says, "Where to next?" Anyway, so long as it's away from that guy, and they both have like their Laverne and Shirley, like just as they see
Right, right.
Batman pursuing them, and they crash into a toy store. But Tiki, not just any toy store,
Oh God.
Wacko toy store,
Yeah,
as in.
Wacko's toy store. Right, yeah.
Remember from Riddler's Reform again, a little son Dan Reba and Paul Dini did together the Riddler episode, the Wacko's Toys. Yeah. Anyway, they also make great watches if you ask the crowd from Hey on. Anyway, so Batman. I love the bit where Batman checks the driver before he goes in. A really great silent sequence with Batman, basically this stage onward, where he's just like really very detective-like, and the really noir and kind of the way this whole thing's shot in the darkness and everything is kind of he's just kind of very predatorily going into place with the flashlight after he checks the driver. Great shadows, great lighting, and he comes across this giant tower, like basically like a tower of toys display.
Uh-uh.
They're trying to drop toys on like giant tin soldiers on them. Didn't work. We have that really creepy shot of Harley Quinn in shadow. Remember that?
Yeah, we actually get a lot of good, like you said, a lot of good shadow and lighting work in the sequence.
They invite the good Bat Boy up to get his present, which of course, we got to beat up our hero a little bit to root for him. So
This giant over the top boxing glove.
Ivy just bam, Merry Christmas. I always love this Poison Ivy line. I gotta be honest, like just from the revamp, it's like Merry Christmas, darling, and bam, right in the face. My God. Then Harley Quinn with the mallet, she's as if she's like part of like a little like alarm like clock or something display. She just kind of gets turned around and Happy New Year, chump.
And
Bam.
the sound design on that dragon, it's like that you can feel the impact there.
You can hear the mahogany in that wood, man.
Nope.
So I mean, Batman takes a nasty fall all the way down to some gifts, and then we have again. This is what I'm talking about in the animation. Tiki, we have Harley Quinn doing some sort of marionette dance as she goes off. Like, bye bye, you broke our toy, Harlan. They're about to leave, and she's doing like that marionette dance. And then Batman awesomely is using his new grappling gun, which is nowhere near as cool as the original. I'm just gonna say that now.
Oh God.
Sorry, it always sticks in my craw how the original looks so much better than this new. Anyway, so Batman uses the grappling gun. He pulls down ginormous tree. Timber falls on Harley and Ivy. We have this great again. It's a wonderful karmic payoff. This is Dini writing at its finest here. Here's your stupid tree. Happy now? And this Harley's like, yeah. And this bulb just falls on our head.
Great. So next up, we have probably my favorite segment of the three main ones.
Yes,
Just because, like I
24th.
said, well, yeah, the three main ones. Dragon the fourth is kind of just like a little
No, I mean
epilogue.
it's the 24th, December 24th. That's
Oh, I'm
today.
sorry. I thought you said it of the
No,
four. I'm
no.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, but like positive thing about this episode, like I have already illustrated, who doesn't love Bullock Santa? I mean, that's just like a fucking just wonderful concept. It just fits like a glove. Uh, but Dragon, the one kind of thing with this episode, I don't think it would be nearly as big of a deal if we didn't just see Sub Zero. But man, Barbara is like up there with the joke. Like, I don't want to say her redesign is unappealing, but it's definitely a noticeable redesign.
You know, it's so weird you say that, Tiki, because I think she kind of turned out best with all the redesigns and everything. I mean, she's in the classic suit, the black and the yellow. I think Tara Strong doing the voice, which is like the definitive
I
back. I know you
feel
still got
like
ways
I'm
to go,
talking
mind you, but
specifically Barbara, not necessarily Batgirl.
well, I guess that yeah, that's a fair point, I guess.
Like
Yeah,
to
'cause
me, there's something about the eyes, the thinner outline. It all looks a little bit off from. And remember, in Sub Zero, we barely see any Batgirl, so I am
true.
more like my mind just kind of drift to the regular version of
Now, what's
Barbara
also
Gordon.
probably throwing you off too is like we had the best looking version of Barbara Gordon ever in Sub Zero as well. That's probably
Exactly,
yeah,
that's
because
also
that's like
probably
Gong
throwing
Yang
me
like
off.
knocking out of the ball. But towards the end, they got Barbara Gordon down pat.
Right, yeah.
I think that might adjust for you though, because again, like Tara Strong in the role. I mean, nothing against the other actors who've taken on Batgirl, but I'm just saying, as a whole, I think Batgirl she was like an improvement as we went forward. Not there was a problem with her in the first place. Just we'll see.
Uh,
So anyway, so we're on to Jolly Old Saint Nicholas, as this one's kind of called in the comic. So we're in Mayfield's department store. This one's like a true blue, like Christmas story department store here. So Barbara's doing some last minute shopping for finding a tie for her father. She spots Bullock and Montoya doing some undercover work as Santa Claus and an elf. Very revealing elf costume, by the way.
I'm just now noticing that there's a random Tetris piece on the wallpaper next to Bullock. It's just straight up like a Tetris S shape.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
So of course, like Barbara, she's like talking to the store clerk, like the sales clerk, and she says, "I've heard kids are being afraid of Santa, but they've been crying all day." And we see this slobbish, gruff Santa Claus just in the chair, like yeah, big crybaby. Next, just Bobby Costanzo just working his magic at the start of the season, pretty good.
But then we get a heartfelt moment from Bullock with the daughter. Can you bring my daddy home for Christmas? Sure. What's and I'm sorry, he's in prison. I don't have the exact
Okay,
specific.
so this little
I'm
girl's
sorry.
Mary McSweeney, and she's like, gee, kid, I don't know, where's your pop? In prison. Like, oh no, he realizes, oh no, this is a, wait, is your father I mean, Mike McSweeney? And then he kind of confers to Montoya here that, oh no, I sent her old man up the river 3 weeks ago, and he just feels so guilty. And this moment, seriously, I mean, second to the ending of this whole episode, this was
Yeah.
the most heartfelt. This bit always gets me, man. Where sometimes even Santa can't make every wish come true. He says really reluctantly because he doesn't want to break the kid's heart, but you know what? I can't make that come true. And we have this lovely moment where he gives her now you don't see in the comic. We know what demonetization this is. This $50 bill. He gives her a $50 bill to
Oh,
buy
that's big
herself,
for a kid, man. $50 bill when you're a kid is like pretty much all the money in the world.
especially in like '97 at this point.
Right,
Still,
yeah.
you know? So anyway, it's like a $50 bill. Buy yourself something nice. Merry Christmas. Buy yourself something nice. Can I get something for my daddy too? He says, hey, so long as I ain't a hacksaw, why not? And she hugs him, and there was a bit in the comic that didn't make it. It was really cute where Bullock kind of shrugs to himself. Oh, there goes my donut money. He was saving that $50 for donuts, but again, he gave up his donuts for the little girl. How beautiful!
First of all, how could you possibly buy $50 worth of donuts?
It's Bullock, Tiki. It's Bullock.
No, but I'm saying like even now, like I pay like maybe $12 for a dozen. Like even now in 2020 prices, like that would be several dozens worth of donuts.
I mean, maybe some coffee too. I don't know. The point being, it's still
All right, all
Bullock.
right.
We've seen Bullock come out of there with like bags of donuts, man. He's,
True, true.
I don't know. Anyway, the Bullock then. Let's not get into semantics. Point being, Bullock, he would probably buy a lot of donuts.
Bullet
So
couldn't possibly eat that many donuts. Dang! I'm sorry.
there's also this thing called change, Tiki, but let's not get hung up on semantics. So importantly, we should mention this: why the heck is Bullock in a Santa suit? Well, here's the reason. They're on a stakeout for this holiday shoplifter who's been, and neither of them are happy in their undercover get-ups.
Oh.
So we kind of build up. There's this young gang of shoplifters who were stealing simultaneously from all the
Run for your life!
departments.
It's the underdwellers.
So Barbara, so she tries to stop him and just comes up with like what seems to be like dirt in her hand. One could say a clay-like substance. So Bullock, he's then fallen asleep a little bit later he falls as this kid's like on his lap getting like a laundry list of things and a sailboat.
I could totally be wrong, but this kid sounds very much like Rob Paulson.
No, it's not Paulson.
It's not Paulson? Okay, it sounds kind of Carl Weezer-esque.
Believe me, it's yeah.
Maybe it's the way that he's just kind of like going on, like, and a sailboat and a monster. That seems like something Carl would do, just prattle off gifts.
Honestly, I'm not 100%. It might be Tress McNeil. I know she's in this episode. It
Okay.
might have been her. But no, You're right. It is kind of Carl. It's kind of Carl Weezer-esque, sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, so then they get the call over the band, which means like kind of our cops or undercover cops, and everyone's like from all these simultaneous stores. They've gotten the call, and they're all chasing these kids individually, which leads to all the kids cornered in the center of the department store. And then they all this is where the revamp comes in handy, where the Clayface animation easier than it's ever been, where they all glob together. Into the
it's
reveal.
easier, but it's not as impressive.
I'm with you. Okay, I'm with you.
It's not like Akira levels of cool.
Because basically, right now he's more like Clay than he was kind of Mudman. Mudman was cool. Anyway, so he's then basically would reveal Clayface what he's been doing. He's been shape-shifting. It's actually quite a clever plot for Clayface. He's been shape-shifting around the holidays and blending into the various shopping crowd, and then move on to the next joint.
Yeah.
Always good to have Ron Perlman come back too, by the way. Yeah,
of course.
So Batgirl, she's changing during the, she changed during all the chaos, and now she's Batgirl, and she just kicks Clayface. Well, in the Clayface, kick right to the Clayface. They both crash outside the window onto kind of the Rockefeller Center-esque ice ring outside. And then Clayface, he kind of turns his hands in the blades, and he's like slicing the crap out of, shredding the crap out of Batgirl's back and her cape and everything. Bullock and Montoya are going out there drilling him like, you aim high, bam, 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 nothing but holes, man. But no dice, no luck until Batgirl has a suggestion. Tiki, what is that suggestion?
Put me on the spot, Dragon.
Don't waste your ammo on him. Shoot the Santa. And Bullock's response is,
I'm sorry. I forgot about this bit. Yeah.
Whereas then Montoya says, not you, dope. Basically points up to the Santa. That Santa, the big old Santa decoration, like Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation as Santa Claus display, hung from the roof where they shoot the crap out of it, and then these lights from the Christmas lights electrocute Clayface in the water. Day is saved, but Bullock has to recover the evidence. Ho, ho, ho. He's got to roll up those sleeves and got to go through Clayface's body and get all the stolen jewels and stuff. But Bullock, he was really nice to that kid. So you know what? It's like karma. It's like give Bullock some points, but then we have to set him back.
Yeah.
All right, so now it's New Year's Eve. It's December 31st. This is what do you do on New Year's Eve? So football. That's something we both care about. Not?
Yeah.
So football.
I cared about football this last Super Bowl more than I've ever cared about it in my life, Dragon, because of the 49ers. And we still lost, but it was a good game. And that's the most I've ever cared about the thing. Anyways.
Only 49ers I care about is minor 49er. All right.
No.
So, Scooby-Doo reference for the
Yeah,
young
I
kids out
know.
there. I know you know. I'm telling them. So the football game's interrupted by Joker dressed as a referee, and okay, so let's talk
All
about it.
right. Yeah. We
Okay.
gotta the eyes, Dragon. If it
Yeah.
weren't for the eyes,
Okay. Now.
it would be fine, honestly.
Yeah. Well, it's not just. I mean, also the lips, man. The lips are weird that we don't have the lips.
Yeah, it's that too. It's that too.
Okay, so here's what happens. So the logic was like let's go for like the delineation of Batman versus Joker a little bit more opposite in the design. Let's thin out the Joker, which
That
again,
is just no.
though there's
I
more.
don't understand the logic of that.
Well, no, I'm saying that like many designs of the Joker, sometimes he's thinner in comparison to Batman. Not my preference, but it's been
I
done.
mean,
So
I get that, but still, it just to me, it just kind of feels like I don't know, man.
what I'm saying is this
It
isn't the
just
deal
feels
breaker.
off.
I'm about to get to all the deal breakers. That one's not quite the deal breaker. The deal breaker is like we kind of make him so white he's kind of blue, which is really weird. Like they give him like a bluish hue with like the way we did the makeup and like did the white complexion, which never looked right when they did it. But the worst thing now they made the mistake of not having lips. They intended to give him lips, but it just like Bruce Timm somehow it got lost in the translation where they
Right.
just kind of like Bruce looked at it and said, "Okay, I guess it works." Now they're stuck with it. So they might as well. They can't really. It'd look really weird if they went back. Now he has lips. Now he doesn't have lips. They can't. They couldn't fix it at that point. But now Bruce Timm is fully culpable for the for the black eye. So here's what happened. It's a nod to the Killing Joke.
Oh dear.
Where
Okay.
the idea is that in the best part of the Killing Joke, when he opens the door and we see him shoot when he shoots Barbara Gordon, very iconic part. One of the best one of the iconic moments from Killing Joke, right?
Yeah.
He's in darkness. When Joker's in shadow, his eyes it's like shark eyes. He has like one little white pin in the center. But again, what Bruce Timm forgot about was that's when he's in shadow, though. When he's in shadow, that looks fantastic, but ordinarily, it's in broad daylight, that's going to look really weird. And eventually, they when they do Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, and when they fixed up the Joker design when we do Justice League, and when you Joker after this whole revamp series, they fixed it and they did best of both worlds. It's like the old Joker plus the revamp, and they basically put him in they put the old Joker in a new suit and gave him some pinprick eyes, but he doesn't have black eyes. So the point is they fixed it later, but it never looks right in this show.
Yeah. It's I don't know.
Yeah, it's a shame because
To
we
be
have some.
honest with you, the closest comparison I have for it is like it's kind of like Roger Klotz-esque.
Yeah, there have been many comparisons. Some people have made, I think, the oversimplifications like Mickey Mouse-esque. Some people have said, like the Roger Klotz is a new one, I'll admit. Some people have said too Freakazoid-esque, which I don't really see, but I mean, with the blue complexion, maybe. Anyway.
I could see that, yeah.
Anyway, so point being, that's the shame because we have some really great Joker stuff in the New Adventures, which again is always marred by, why does he have to look so off though?
Right.
When we get to Joker's Millions, I want to love that episode a lot more than I do. But the problem is that look always, oh man. All right, so it's like, hi ho, couch potatoes.
Mhm.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm interrupting your toilet bowl here for my New Year's resolution. Basically, he's gonna. I won't kill for an entire year, which means I'm going to have to work fast to bump off as many of you as I can. Classic Joker logic. It's great. So I love the detail. He's changing his suit in the locker room. I just love he's going with the full broadcast here. It's like from the sports locker room. He's making this announcement, and they reuse this scene in Return of the Joker.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it looks a lot better when they redesigned him. So anyway, Joker saying, as for the who, how, and where, let's make a game of it. A countdown of victims that will end at midnight unless our dear Dark Knight stops me first. Yeah. So we reveal it's a classic Batman Gordon scene in Gordon's office, but there's something a little added in this scene.
Yeah, it's Robin, but not that Robin.
No, not that, Rob. So again, this is why this was not the best episode to premiere with. When here's the weird thing, Tiki. Robin's not even in the comic when they adapted this. He's not even in the comic at all.
Oh,
so they didn't even have to worry about this. But what they wanted to do is they had background. They're figuring, well, the whole season's about the Bat family, so we should.
Yeah, but true. But then we don't have any Dick Grayson.
I know that you're right.
Like, why not just put in Dick Grayson if we need to have the Bat family?
Which, well, again, they can't do that because he's Nightwing at this point. But we haven't met him yet.
Oh dear. Oh God. Wait. So like, did he come? I'm sorry. Did he become
You'll
Nightwing? Like,
They're gonna tell you, Tiki.
oh
There's an
man. All
episode.
right.
There's a landmark episode all about what happened with Dick Grayson as Nightwing. It's a very beloved.
Gotcha. Do they kind of like build it up? Is
Yeah,
it
they
kind of
build
like
it.
a mystery?
They build it up a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
That's what I'm saying. So you'll I think you're gonna we'll see how you feel about that. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
so my point is we have kind of a Batman Gordon scene here as they're watching the broadcast on the TV, and that was noon today. Only one victim's turned up so far, which is really eerie. If he's promising a whole bunch of victims, only one's popped up, which means he has something really sinister planned. So Dr. John Erickson, a guy for one of the scientists of GothCorp, again bringing back GothCorp. I completely forgot about that. So, we'll connect the tissue to Sub-Zero.
Sure.
So this guy's he was doing sonic research, and he was basically working on a sonic bomb project, which now is in Joker's hands, which is not good. So he's wearing these. Basically, if you have these mufflers on, it prevents the effects. Otherwise, you're gonna die from the sonic sound wave. It's gonna probably give like an aneurysm or something's gonna kill you. So let's see. So Batman figures there's no bigger countdown than New Year's. On New Year's, then Gotham Square.
Mhm.
Brings us to Gotham Square. So Joker's goons stay the same going forward, which I think was a good call, by the way. Joker has like basically these Three Stooges henchmen.
Yeah. I kind of remember you mentioning this when we talked about Holiday Nights the first time, and it is a nice little touch.
Yeah, the last time we saw Joker in Make 'em Laugh, he had these mime-like henchmen, but now
Right.
seriously. So now
Yeah.
we've cracked the code. I'm like, let's keep this model of henchmen, but we'll give them some funny names, and like actually make it like Ron Perlman doing impressions of the Three Stooges, which is he's doing, which is what he's doing here. So the goons are setting the stage, and Joker's like, this is a really creepy bit. I forgot about this. So that's the cool thing about being on Kids WB, which I had no idea how we get away with this on Kids WB. He can kill people on Saturday morning television now, which is awesome. Joker's, I love New Year's Eve. So many happy faces. He's playing with a yo-yo. We reveal 2 dead cops with smiles on their faces, which is really scary.
That's true. Yeah, there is like you don't see much of the dark stuff in this episode, but it's kind of there in the background if you look for it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to get a little bit more in your face as it goes on, but it's there. So the goons have hooked up, basically rigged the bell and the clock, so when the two meet at midnight, everyone's going to get a real bad earache.
Right.
The Joker, like, I really have to congratulate myself on this one. It's almost magic time and no Batman in sight, but he does have that annoying habit of spoiling my fun at the last minute, which means... not to worry, because Joker's stocked up on party favors. Now, what are those party favors, Tiki?
Tell him.
A mask. They're all these Joker masks.
Right.
Very 89-esque.
All right, so we get Batman and Tim Drake.
Which at this point, we don't even know. If you're watching this for the first time, oh my God, is that Jason Todd?
Yeah, right.
That's a whole thing. That's a whole thing I'm saving for the next episode. No, it's not. We'll get there.
They're scaling some buildings. I'm reminded of the Clerks the animated series. Why are we walking like this? Which, by the way, just for the record, I love how they use that gag over and over again in the clip show. It's like, yeah, this is our standout gag in the first episode, and we're gonna beat it to death.
Seriously, that show is so clever with that.
We need to talk about that show, man. We really should.
Yeah.
At some point soon.
Right.
Anyways, but just in all seriousness, though, I do like the shadow work here, the silhouettes scaling down the big buildings. It does look pretty striking.
Yeah. Of course, Batman remarks to Robin, murder on this scale, Joker's going to be close to observe his handiwork, and he's going to be easy to spot in this crowd, which, of course, leads to the really clever idea. Now, there's a problem with this, with the clever idea. All the people are wearing these Joker face mask party favors. Again, I'll give a pass, like a whole 89 sort of thing. Like, they're kind of, why the heck are they wearing these Joker masks? Well, again, it's Gotham. Let's just give it. It's just, it's like a murderous plan who killed a news anchor on air. Why are we doing that? Because they want money, because they're happy, because it's news, because he promised not to kill anyone. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
It's a buy. It's a holiday buy. I'll give it up. It's a Christmas Mary. I'll give it a pass. Now, here's what I can't give a pass, though. Okay, I'll give that a pass. Here's the problem. So, Robin saying, you were saying, really snarky, Robin, but, but okay. So, Batman remarks very cleverly, Joker has fixed it so all his victims will end up dying with a smile, which is a great idea. But here's a mistake from the adaptation. The comic, Joker's not wearing the purple suit in this scene. He's wearing like a white getup. He's wearing like an all white sort of like. He's,
okay. Okay.
So the idea is like it would be hard, if they're all wearing Joker's faces, you don't know where Joker is in the crowd.
But if again, he's just wearing his purple suit, it'd be pretty easy. Like, it'd be pretty easy to distinguish a mask from.
That's them resting on their laurels of the new style, where it's like, we don't have to change the Joker model. It absolutely
is them, right? Yeah, it's like the new style is basically just like
It's like we don't need to like worry about putting Joker in different costumes and different outfits. Like we just redesigned them for pity's sake. It's like, come on, guys. It's like that makes you really long for the way the comic looked in the original style and everything. Like they give him a white suit, which would have helped this anyway. That's my big nitpick of the whole thing. Okay,
I hear you.
All right, so Batman spots clowns. So again, he spots clowns with sound mufflers and the one guy in the purple suit. But again, the sound mufflers being him using the detective work to figure out who's on the stage. So then we get a really cool. I love this action sequence, though. Say my little nitpick aside, this sequence is really cool. So Batman battering the Joker's head, and they bam on the piano, and then oh boy. Some cool action here. Robin's like getting again. The cool thing with this younger Robin is he can like jump on people's shoulders and beat the crap out of their heads and everything. Just what he's doing here. And then I love the Joker Batman face off here. Joker's hitting Batman on the with the champagne bucket.
Yeah, that's a great weapon for a New Year's battle. And
a great line too, like poor Bats. That champagne went right to your head. You're gonna miss the countdown. Right. So Robin gets grabbed by the cape, as Edna Mode would say. No caps.
Okay.
Then we have this great 10-second climax. Oh my God, I love the 10-second climax. 10 seconds. Batman, as Joker's about to sip on the champagne as he kills a whole crowd full of people. Batman hits the champagne bottle as he's uncorking it. Cork goes in Joker's eyes like Dark Knight Returns. The battering going in his eye, just less bloody. It's like, bam, right in the eye. Batman uses that. He catches that bottle, shorts out the controls of the bomb and everything. Joker then shoots Batman in the arm just after he saves the day. The bell falls instead of setting off the bomb. Joker's about to kill Batman. Joker looks up and, oh no. I always love Mark Hamill's delivery of, oh no. It's just that bell comes down and bam! Batman even winces. The bell is just falling off. We ring in the new year quite painfully for the Joker. Falls on the Joker. Big old Liberty Bell crack. Robin tosses a guy into the crowd, and this Joker says, ouch, because that looks like it really hurts.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, how can the episode get any better than that, I ask you? I'm going to tell you. I met my wish list here. So, it's January 1st, 1:55.
January 1st, 1:55 a.m. Yeah.
So then this section's called "Should All Acquaintance Be Forgot?" So this is again, this one was the comic was drawn by Reba and written by Dini. So this one's full circle with our director and writer on this episode. It's quite perfect. Of course, one of my all-time favorite Batman Gordon scenes. It's up there, man. It's hard. It's beautiful.
I feel like you could just put this poster, this image that we're looking at right now, on a poster, and it'd be like a great kind of like, kind of sums up everything about the Batman and Gordon dynamic that we love.
It is my go-to. I got to admit, when I'm looking for Batman Gordon images, if I'm being frank, I mean it's this and Batman Begins. Those are usually my go-to for the Batman Gordon scene. They're up there, It's that, and of course, I Am the Night, but it's not. Anyway, so we have, and this is really cool. This is a full circle return.
I have warmed up to the whole Bruce Wayne thing over the years, too.
That's great, too. So we have a really nice full circle return, because think about it. The episode, if you look at the beginning of this episode at the Gotham Hotel, where Harley and Ivy are, across the street from it, the first image of the episode is Joe's Tavern. Mm-hmm. So they're right across the street from where it all starts here. So we're in Joe's Tavern. We have a bunch of carolers and drunks singing, and of course the drunks are modeled after Bruce Timm, Glenn Murakami, and Shane Gleans, just as the guys sing. They're all designed after him. They're all so old lang syne. So Gordon enters and he signals to Joe the bard, Joe the diner owner, bartender, the guy, who by the way is modeled after Paul Dini. He looks like Paul Dini, which I thought was really sweet.
Oh yeah. Sure, I can see it.
So he clears the place out. But we want to sing. So practice for St. Patty's Day. Like, oh, when they're always grumbling as they're leaving. Then we have, Gordon sitting down. Joe pours him some coffee. Says, "I heard your buddy had a rough night. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't show."
Uh-huh.
And then Gordon comes in so reassured. These are the episodes that make me miss Bob Hastings so much. And how great he was.
Yeah, I hear you.
And break our tradition. And unless I miss my guess, that's him now. Like the one time that Gordon gets to see Batman coming. The one time.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's like the one time of the year.
Exit, but
it's not the exit, but he can beat him at the entrance, though. He doesn't. It's the one time of year Gordon doesn't get scared by Batman on arrival. The one time. It makes it extra special. So Batman enters. This beautiful notion that Batman and Gordon share a cup of coffee to toast and ring in the new year. Every year. Like, so he's asking, like, how's the arm? Better than the Joker's, which is a great response. It's a close one. They're all close ones. Here's the survival. Hopefully we'll be doing this again next New Year's Eve. Hopefully. Then we have, again, just this wonderful human gesture with these guys, with this truly unusual partnership, but it's such a wonderful human moment between them. And Gordon, he turns to Joe, says, I'm now going to ask Joe for one of his famous cheesesteaks to go. And he's asking Batman, very nice, I love the pleasantries here. He's asking Batman, anything for you? And he gets interrupted. And we reveal bad exit. Batman's gone. But what's on the table, Tiki?
He paid for the bill.
Yep. And Gordon vows, one of these years I'm gonna.
One of these days, I'm gonna beat him to the check.
So Old Lang Syne plays as Gordon leaves. Batman grapples the other way, and it's just one thing I want to tell you, Tiki, because you're not going to know about this. This is to make this a little special for our recovering of the event. So as Batman leaves, the two of them go on their merry ways, perfect ending, and they kind of reference this one other time in the tie-in comics, which is really beautiful. Batman Adventures number 10, there's a moment where essentially Batman's on the wrong end of the Penguin became mayor and he's hunting for Batman, so Batman and Gordon couldn't have their New Year's Eve meetup. So what happened is Gordon's at Bruce Wayne's charity event. And he laments, like, oh yeah, I usually meet with a friend of mine on New Year's Eve. We kind of had to break our tradition this year. And then Alfred comes in, holding a cup of coffee, and he says, "A man on the phone just rang and gave me explicit instructions to give you this cup of coffee, sir."
Oh man!
And Bruce Wayne's like right there with a smile on his face that Gordon can't see. And it was like, and I read it like recently this year. It's like, oh my god, it's the sweetest callback ever. Because I was so sad, like, yeah, he can't have the meeting, but oh my god, Batman remembered, and he still made it like Batman's. Oh my goodness, it was just so beautiful. So a point being, just this ending's always stuck with me. It's one of the definitive Batman Gordon moments. So just truly a beautiful way to end the episode.
All right. So yeah, final thoughts. I mean, like I said, Dragon, just on its own, I do think it's quite a good collection of little short vignettes, and I like the fact that it's kind of set around the holiday time, but it's not specifically a Christmas episode. And like you said, with the Joes of it all, we get some some decent connective tissue between the shorts, and that's always nice. And, I think the only thing that we have to complain about is kind of the awkward airing schedule and the kind of glaring change in animation styles. But, I am excited about the season going forward, especially now that you say it's darker.
Oh, yeah. Final thoughts for me. Again, such an unusual choice to premiere with. Because, yeah, I mean, it's also, I think this play premieres in September, way off from Christmas, too, which is even stranger. But again, it's an unusual choice to premiere with. But overall, it's a very nice holiday episode. Again, of course, I live for the Batman Gordon and Joe's Tavern scene. Great Dini writing on all the stories. Very fun, very human in places. Again, I wish certain things could have been adapted from the book proper, like White Christmas. But again, I get it was an impossibility after Sub-Zero, which again, you can't. Unfortunately, you can't move mountains on that one. As well as like some. I wish we're kind of stuck with the style for better or for worse. At times, it's going to get a little better. Times, not so much. And if there's times not so much, we have Joker sticking out like a sore thumb.
Right, right.
When we just say Joker's not going to stick out like a sore thumb, that's the problem. But again, on the whole, the sentiment's absolutely there, and I think in many respects, because the vignette style, it is kind of better than Christmas with the Joker, even though it doesn't have that animation style. That's the.
I would say, yeah, I would argue it is probably a little better than Christmas with the Joker. I would sign off on that.
I do love that in Christmas with the Joker, though we do just have that line that Gordon, that Gordon lent him. That's a Wonderful Life. I still love that, but again, it doesn't hold a candle to this toast that we have before us. Anyway, but yeah, overall, it's good. The Holiday Nights, it's a great episode. Maybe not the one we should start with, but it's there. Okay.
All right, cue it up, Dragon. What's the next one?
A Robin missing, a Robin found, Two-Face in the mix. Can Batman and Batgirl stop the potential plague? Will Robin take flight? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to the animated Batcave with Sins of the Father.
One of these years, I'm going to beat him to the check.
Ooh, a piano.
To survival.